Good evening and welcome to the Tahoe Truckee Unified School District Board meeting. The board did meet in closed session and had no reportable action. At this point, we would like to ask that you join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we start, I do just want to acknowledge the lovely letters and cards that we've gotten for the board appreciation, as well as all the posters there. And then I do believe our art is from North Tahoe High School. Correct. Thank you for doing that. Okay, let's see where we are. We did that. We now have the approval of the agenda. Is there any changes to our agenda this evening, Superintendent Kramer?
President Driller, no changes tonight.
Thank you. Would anyone care to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Marvelous.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Oh, I went out of order. Moving to public comment. We do have some public comments this evening. Reminder that it is a 3-minute timer that will be set. And if there are so many more people that need to speak, we can do it after the board meeting. But at this point, we have a diocese up here. Just please make sure that the green light is on. And let me just make sure nothing is, okay. Deirdre Henderson will start, and then Kira Scott will come second.
Okay. Happy New Year. It's good to see you all again. For the record, my name is Deirdre Henderson. I am the grandmother of a first grader at Truckee L. I am the group leader of the North Tahoe chapter of Citizens Climate Lobby and co-lead of 100% Renewable Truckee. So I want to update you on an idea that has been broached in meetings that the Tahoe Youth Action Team and its adult CCL mentors have had with district administrators on the Students' Decarbonization Resolution, which was proposed to you last April. That idea is using a network geothermal system to heat and cool space and water on the Donner Pass Road campus, which could be installed as you redo your athletic fields and you implement your new facilities master plan. This would reduce those utility operating costs greatly into the future, and the capital expenditure costs would be reduced greatly, at least 30%, maybe as much as 40%, through benefits available in the Federal Inflation Reduction Act. So here's what happened. CCL does 2 columns a month for the Sierra Sun. One of those columns last year was about network geothermal, which is gaining traction around the country. It's very suitable to our snowy climate, and it reduces dependence on polluting fossil fuels. A group of graduate students at the UC Davis Masters, in the UC Davis Masters program in Environmental Policy and Management, came across that column in a Google search and contacted us because they were entering a U.S. Department of Energy collegiate geothermal competition and were looking for a suitable project for that competition. We were thrilled to hear from them because we realized their project could supply more information about the possible viability of a net geo system on this campus. So to help them in their research, we introduced them to the school district administrators and various other community leaders and organizations and hosted them on a field visit to Truckee. They completed and submitted their project in December. Some of you may have received emailed copies of their project submission, and the project was excellent. It included analyses of costs, funding, permitting, stakeholder outreach. It had an interactive website, a brochure, various videos. In short, the students' work is a great leap forward in exploring the possible project, and it didn't cost you a dime. There is an 8-minute video that the students did to introduce their project submission, and we would be happy to show that to you at your next board meeting. It would have to be on your agenda because we can't do it in 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deirdre. Kira. And then after Kira, the next one is Lillian.
Hi there, good evening. My name is Kira Scott, and I'm a senior at Truckee High School and the president of the Tahoe Youth Action Team. I'm here tonight to inquire about the status of the project manager and energy conservation slash sustainability coordinator, that's a mouthful, position that the district posted back on September 15th, 2023. According to the description attached to the job posting on EdJoin, TTUSD seeks to achieve significant energy costs and resource savings while minimizing environmental impact through reducing the district's energy use, carbon footprint, and greenhouse gas emissions. Hiring a sustainability coordinator is a really key step to achieving this end. The job posting currently shows up as expired when I looked on EdJoin, and I'd just like to follow up about the status of filling this critical position. Furthermore, I'd like to recommend that the district look into creating separate jobs for a construction project manager and an energy conservation or sustainability coordinator to ensure that both jobs are able to be completed effectively. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kira, and we will follow up on that for you and get that out to you. Thank you for reminding. Lillian, way to go.
Hello, I'm Lillian Schnick. I'm an 11th grader at Truckee High School and a member of the Tahoe Youth Action Team. I'd like to say Happy New Year and that we look forward to working with the board to ensure a better environment for the students and community. I was wondering about the district's standing with the current resolution to establish goals for energy efficiency, clean energy, and carbon neutrality proposal. And I was also wondering if there was any support we could provide in order to work towards passing this resolution or other sustainability-focused proposals. Thank you.
Thank you for that, and appreciate the opportunity to ask you for help. Thanks so much. There's no one else that has made comments. Anyone else needing a public comment? Thank you all for those comments, and we'll at this point move to the student representatives. And tonight, let's start off with North Tahoe. We have Val Laguna and Bree Muldrew. Oh, and look at that entrance. Oh, dang, I'm like, wow. That was a present. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Laguna, and I am the student body representative for North Tahoe High School, and I'm glad to be here with you all today. In order to capture all that our students and staff have done, I will be reporting back all the way back to last year. In December, we ended the year with a door decorating contest, and I am proud to announce that Ms. Barker's class, which is my Pathways class, won the competition with a magical gingerbread house theme. Before the break, our culinary classes persevered through the long and vigorous cookie week. The students made over 8,000 cookies for the senior citizens. They also shared the joy of a cookie with the North Tahoe staff and students. Each year, Mrs. Hartung supports these students and demonstrates great grit. Because of this, she earned the December Tireless Teacher Award. To wrap up the holiday spirit, each teacher received a Christmas tree donut, a brand new Sasquatch Thursday shirt, and brand new classroom, library, and dining commons furniture. This year, we are welcoming a new staff member to NTHS, Jamie. She will be supporting the students in the Wellness Center as Hillary takes on her new position as Wellness Center Specialist. As the new year calls for new wins, our basketball girls are quick to step up and they are currently undefeated. The basketball boys have also put in great effort and are more dedicated than ever. All our snow sports are also off to a strong start as they had their first races last week. Winter homecoming is on its way, and our theme is Neon Nights. This year, we are going to be hosting it in the new Arts for the Schools Hall. Our leadership class is very excited and are working hard to make it a memorable and fun night for all our students. We hosted a FAFSA workshop in Espanol last week, and many of our seniors have completed their college applications and are eagerly awaiting acceptance letters, as getting into their dream college is a major milestone in their educational journey. Some students have already received their acceptance letters, filling them with joy and relief, while others are still patiently waiting for a response. Although we are all having fun and spirits are high, our students are more focused and dedicated than ever as they prepare for finals next week. They possess a strong work ethic and are committed to achieving their goals. They are motivated to learn and continually push themselves to reach their full potential. But secretly, some of us are wishing there are some more snow days. We also wanted to thank each of you for School Board Recognition Month. So we have your card.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, nice work. Sierra High, Jasmine.
Good evening, Superintendent Kramer, members of the board and cabinet. My name is Jasmine Juarez Flores, and I'm a senior at Sierra High. It was exciting to see all my friends after winter break. We had a really good attendance at Sierra High for the first few days back. Students shared their goals for the remainder of the school year. Most students are working on passing their classes, graduating, and yes, getting their driver's license. We have 1 week left in the semester, and students are wrapping up their assignments starting the second semester. Mr. Santos and our counselor, Ms. Lampley, will hold credit update checks with the seniors to evaluate their credit status for graduation. Ms. Zapata's class will be starting a Shakespeare project during the second semester. This project includes meeting with actual Shakespeare performers and learning about the acting experience as it relates to Shakespeare. Ms. Bossi will be piloting the Carnegie Math program with some of her students at the start of the semester. We look forward to seeing our students in action with this pilot program. We have 6 new students starting at Sierra High School for the second semester, from both Truckee High and North Tahoe High. We look forward to having new students on our campus. We have a wellness trip for the whole school with Gateway Mountain Center tomorrow. We will have the opportunity to snowshoe on Donner Summit, talk about winter survival and ways to work as a team, and we will share lunch made by Gateway's chef. Today, the Truckee River program had a wellness trip with Gateway at North Star. Most of the students had never been skiing or snowboarding before, but they loved it. On behalf of Sierra High School Coldstream Alternative and Truckee River program, I want to recognize the board for Board Appreciation Month and how much our students and staff truly appreciate the ongoing support you provide for us. Thank you.
Jasmine, by the end of the year, you're going to have done how many of these? 8? A lot. That's awesome. You guys are all getting so much better at this. Truckee High, do we have Ocean and Parker here? Oh, yes.
I am Ocean Odell, and I'm the Truckee High ASB Secretary.
And I'm Parker Bias, and I'm the Senior Class Treasurer at Truckee High.
So tonight we are going to be presenting our past achievements and then what we are working towards.
So what have we done? So we supported our local senior citizens and with Meals on Wheels by making cards for senior citizens in our community, and Ms. Markovchik organizes this every year.
Our counseling center pushed into the 9th graders' SS classes and talked about what it takes to be a successful student, which we've kind of talked about already with Link Crew as well, but we just wanted to really get into that with them. And then our 12th graders finished up most of their college applications, and then our counselors are working on preparing the 12th graders for the local scholarships or the TTCF scholarships, and then we're also working with the younger classes on the course requests for next year.
And then for sports, we have basketball, ski team, snowboard team, wrestling, and Nordic skiing started recently. And then our winter rally was on December 22nd, and it was very successful. The theme was The Grinch Who Stole the Holidays, and we had a great winter break and a very happy new year.
And then what we are currently working towards, so we have our finals January 25th and 26th, and our new semester will start the following week. And then we have our boosters meeting on February 5th.
And then on January 11th, we had a FAFSA workshop, which was very helpful for a lot of our seniors completing their financial aid profiles, and are now starting graduation preparation.
As for sports, we have our league basketball games starting, and we have home games on January 10th, 17th, the 26th, February 7th and 9th, and then our alpine skiing has competitions on January 10th, the 24th, the 31st, February 9th, and the 13th and 14th. Nordic has competitions on January 12th, 19th, February 3rd, 9th, 16th, and March 2nd. And then our snowboarding has competitions on January 15th, 22nd, 29th, February 5th, and March 5th.
And February 6th is a minimum day coming up, and we are preparing for the talent show on Thursday, February 15th, at 6 p.m., and also preparing for Kindness Week and Hope Week in the future.
Around Valentine's Day. And then for appreciation, we also brought you guys cards from our leadership class, wishing you guys just a happy holiday, and thank you guys for all you do.
Thank you.
Oh, this is a great meeting. Okay, meeting adjourned. We're out. Okay, let's go to 9.0. Superintendent Kramer.
Yes, it is my honor to introduce Principal Mitchell and Assistant Principal Fleestock for the North Tahoe High School Showcase tonight. Come on up.
Nice, nice. Okay, good evening. I am Joanna Mitchell, principal of North Tahoe High School, and this is Jason Fleesock, assistant principal. And we have a great team here with us that we'll introduce to you in a minute to talk about our sports med program. So we are here talking about North Tahoe High School, where a Laker has many forms, one of which might just look like a skiing Sasquatch. But we have 3 career technical education pathways. To our longest is our culinary program, and then we've had engineering for several years, and then just last year we started with sports med.
So our CTE pathways and our programs support the recent strategic plan roadmap that the district adopted from 2023 going forward. The 3 areas highlighted in that roadmap are academic achievement, support systems, and community connections. And really our CTE pathways are there to support particularly our academic achievement areas. within that roadmap, the 3 strands listed there, we really want to make sure that our CTE pathways continue to offer opportunities for all of our students to explore academic and personal interests of their own. And that's what really grew and was the genesis of our sports medicine program. So yeah.
So the whole idea of sports through these processes, we determined that we needed to expand the number of CTE pathways and offerings that we had for our students. Engineering and culinary were great, but they weren't meeting the needs and all the career interests of our students. And many students were interested in athletics and medical pathways. And sports medicine is a great combination of the two that really casts a wide net. So students who are interested in coaching and athletic training, a PT, nursing, doctor, all the way to surgeon, could all get an entrance into that pathway through this class. So in research, we toured the South Tahoe High School sports medicine facilities and the program that they have there, which is really amazing. And we explored teacher credentialing, and it kind of just miraculously came together that Hannah Lamb, who was teaching math for us at the time and had a credential in biology and experience in sports medicine field that I didn't even know about until it all came together, that she qualified for the CTE credential and had an amazing interest in sports medicine. So everything just kind of came together. And so we were able to incrementally start the sports medicine program and add a couple of courses, which oftentimes you can't do because you need to hire a teacher and kind of start all out. So we wrote the course descriptions, we got board approval and A through G approval, and with the support of the district, we were able to start Sports Med 1 last year, and now I will have our Sports Med team introduce themselves. The students here are all juniors in Sports Med 2, and this is Hannah Lamb, our Sports Med teacher. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves as they are presenting.
So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the course, Sports Med 1 and Sports Med 2. So Sports Med 1, as Joanna said, started 2 years ago in the 2022-2023 school year. And some of the key concepts we do in Sports Med 1 is careers in Sports Med, medical terminology, so going over pretty extensively different medical terminologies that they might be using throughout Sports Med 1 and Sports Med 2. We do a pretty big unit on kinesiology as well, so they get a basic understanding of kinesiology in the human body. And then we start getting more into wounds, soft tissue wounds. You can see in that photo, we build wounds, so that's not a real wound. That is built to demonstrate a puncture wound, one of the 5 wounds that we talk about in soft tissue injuries we talk about. We do a pretty comprehensive unit on sports nutrition and sports psychology to end out the year. We also do a bunch of ankle taping in Sports Med 1, so you can see right there. They're working on ankle taping, actually one of our basketball athletes. We do work-based learning activities such as ankle taping. We do a lot of ankle taping in Sports Med 1. They also get CPR, first aid, and AED certified through the American Red Cross. Sports Med 1 just actually finished that for this year. We also have EpiPen, Narcan, and Stop the Bleed training that we do with our school nurse. They're doing that actually tomorrow. They're doing the Stop the Bleed training, learning how to pack wounds, all that type of stuff, tourniquet training. So we do that every year in Sports Med 1. They do lots of other things like creating a fitness plan, creating a nutrition plan, especially for our athletes. Most of the students, if not all of the students in Sports Med, are athletes also at our school. So they learn how to create fitness plans for themselves. They learn how to create meal plans for like days of meets, like when you should have carbs, proteins, balanced meals, stuff like that. And that's basically some of our main projects that we do in Sports Med 1. And the certificate that they all receive is from the American Red Cross. I certify them. I'm a certified instructor. And it's a tier certificate that they will redo. And these group of juniors, when theirs expire, I'll probably do another training for them, just like on RTI or something, to recertify them so they have that through college, which looks really great for their resume and really great if they are interested in continuing a career in Sports Med. Our student numbers is, we had 59 students in 2022-2023, and then this year we have 62 students in Sports Med 1, so it's grown, and it's actually, I think, one below the max, two below the max, because there was a bit of a wait list for Sports Med 1 this year. So it was a pretty popular class. They feel big. Sports Med 2, so the exciting thing about Sports Med 2 is because I have a life science credential, we were actually able to get it as a CTE for pathway completion and an A through G science. So these students are able to use it as CTE and A through G life science. The key kind of things and takeaways and concepts that we take in Sports Medicine 2 are just elevating Sports Med 1. So we talk a lot about neuroscience, concussions in athletes, wearing protective equipment, signs and symptoms, assessment and treatment of common injuries. So we do a lot more excessive bandaging, taping, things like that. We talk a lot about neuroscience. So you can see their brain project right here, that they had to create different brains. Some people made pamphlets, some made a tinfoil that you kind of put the parts together. Someone baked a cake. So there's lots of different pretty creative ways that they're doing projects, learning about neuroscience in our concussion unit. We're going to be learning about environmental emergencies, which is really important living up in Tahoe. So we'll start doing that in the next semester. Learning about pharmacology is also something that we're starting to do in the next semester. Right now we're doing the cardiovascular system. We did blood typing today, which was difficult, but they did very well. They learned all about the different types of blood types, A, B, and O. They did very well. And we do a lot of taping. So a big part of the first semester is taping, bandaging, knowing how to treat wounds, and starting their internships that they're going to talk about in a second. But that's another big part of Sports Medicine too, is really creating everything we learned into work-based learning into their internships. We're going to be doing blood pressure labs pretty soon in our cardiovascular unit. We're learning about neurotransmitters and injury assessments and special tests. We have a special test leg and ankle that we got a grant for, so they've learned how to do like different special tests to tell if it's an ACL injury, PCL injury, different types of ankle sprains, what grades, and they can test it, and they've actually all tested and used it out so they know how to feel for different injuries and special tests. And they've done great with it. We have 23 students. This is the first year we've done it, and obviously we haven't made it through the year all the way, but we've had 23 students in our level 2 class, and these are some of our students that are with us today, and they're going to talk more about the internships that we do in level 2. You can see they're all wearing their beautiful student athletic trainers, NT, and they have a little Sports Medicine logo on the back, but they wear those for their internships. So they're going to talk about that, and then some of the field trips that we do in Sports Medicine as well. Do you want to introduce yourselves also?
Hi, my name is Alexa.
And I'm Andrea.
And then we're going to be talking about our field trips, which 2 of them were last year, and then our most recent was going to Sacramento Kings. So the most recent one was the Sacramento Kings, which we got to go on a field trip with this. It was this big program where a lot of different sports med class came from all over California, which was really nice because we got to meet some more people with the same program, including South Tahoe. And then we got to learn, we got to take a tour of the stadium, which was really nice. And then we got to do some like programs which they had around there, which taught us more about like the brains and injuries, like most common in the NBA, which was really nice. And for me, it was a nice experience, especially for someone like going into the medical field, and a career that was really special was like going into athletic training, and like it showed like where you could go like even to be an athletic trainer for an NBA player, which was really nice. And then it ended with a NBA game, which was really nice to watch.
Another field trip we took was a UNR cadaver lab, and it was a great experience because not only did we get a tour of the UNR school, which some students might apply to, but we also got to see not like dead bodies, but kind of like more like models. And
they were not alive bodies. Yes.
Yeah. And it was a great experience because not only did we like get to see the way a cadaver is not processed, like I would say processed, but like we also got to experience like analyzing a body, if that makes sense, and like really like naming body parts. And yeah, it was just a great experience to just get a tour and like just see cadavers. But yeah,
they were cadavers. There's no quotation. That is what they are. I also want to highlight, you can see on those far photos, them in the lab coats. That's them at the cadaver lab. They also learned how to suture at the cadaver lab right below. And then the other two photos are from the Kings game.
I don't remember getting an invitation to the field trip that I went. I could have gone on that one. That's kind of cool. Not many people see cadavers. So that's pretty cool.
And then our last trip that we took was a trip to the Reno Aces game, where we also met another athletic trainer, which was really nice because we got to see like different types of injuries, since there's like more common injuries in like different sports. And this time we got to see like how there was injuries in a baseball game, and it was really nice to meet their athletic trainer. And like a lot of athletic trainers, like how they use like their different taping methods, which we got to see, which was really nice.
Thank you, guys. Okay. And now let them introduce themselves, but they're going to talk about the internships.
My name's Macy Kearns.
And I'm Brady Dessler.
So everyone in our Sports Med 2 class is required to complete 20 hours of internship hours.
Most kids have the opportunity to do it through all of our different sports at our school with our athletic trainer, Jordan Myers. However, you can have different opportunities, like going and volunteering at the hospital in the community, or if you kind of have any like way to talk to medical professionals, you can totally get them to do your volunteer hours.
This is a great opportunity for us to go into these internships because it shows us the reality of going into one of these professions and how you react to injuries.
We go through all different types of things, like learning how to react to emergency medical situations on and off the field. You also get to learn how to tape in various different ways for multiple different athletes. You get to like roll out athletes' injuries, and you get to perform, like Ms. Lamb said, a lot of different special tests, like getting to perform ACL tear injuries and seeing how it affects and kind of learning all the long-term effects that all these have on the athletes.
And I myself have found these internships really helpful to explore my interests to go into the medical field.
Hi, my name is Scout Mitchell. In addition to all of our internships with the athletic trainers, I have been volunteering at Tahoe Forest Hospital for the past 2 years. Through my volunteer work, I have gotten a hands-on experience with many different medical professionals, which has also allowed me to get a better idea of what I might want to study in the future.
Oh yeah, will you guys?
Should I put my jacket on?
Very nice. Okay, and then from here, we are now looking for ways that students are now really interested and they've completed, level 2. So we're looking at what they can do next. And so we are looking at Sierra College partnerships, potentially in emergency medical response and providing that locally, as well as looking at some of the online courses that Sierra College offers, including Introduction to Allied Health, Medical Terminology, and Principles of Nutrition or Sports Nutrition. Thank you so much for your time.
That was awesome. Wow, I am psyched. I'm glad we did that. And I think if I recall correctly, Mitchell, that was one of the things that we had talked about, some of the kids in when we did this leadership conversation, at it, getting more CTE pathways and stuff. So I think it's one of those things where you guys speak up and we'll try to make it happen. But good connections with our little community. Yay. Awesome. So now we know where to go if we get hurt. Will you guys get a chance, and could we get them to ever be on, they'll just work with our athletic trainer to go to our sports and they could be there? Like, don't we have an athletic trainer that we have at every game?
That's what they go to games.
And they
20 hours.
do that as their volunteer. So that's awesome, because that's really good. Awesome. Thank you for coming all the way over here. I'm a size medium, I think. Okay. Moving on quickly, 10.0, Superintendent's Report. Oh, good call. Overstepped my boundaries. Any public comment? Okay, sorry. Any board comments on this? Sorry.
I remember a couple of school years ago when, and Miss Lamb, right? When you were here as part of a presentation with another athletic trainer. You had just started, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. And yes, do you remember what I'm talking about? And so then we went from you participating on that level to now leading a CTE course. And I just love seeing the evolution of, our schools. And I think this is so exciting. And I almost started crying because two of these young ladies, I've known since, I'm like, holy cow, you guys might, well, regardless of what you do, you're presenting as juniors. I'm just like, it's a lot. But this is a really exciting CTE, so congrats. Yeah.
Danielle? Pat?
As great as engineering and culinary are, I'm so glad you looked beyond that and found something else that was such great interest to the students. And I think it's natural because it's something that the students can and are doing right at their own site, at their own games and so on. It's fantastic. And it fits in nicely with the presentation that we're going to be seeing later. They stole my thunder, by the way, on one of my answers. So thank you for doing that. You guys did a great job. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much. Apologize for totally forgetting you guys, the board.
That's okay, you gave us cards in the beginning of it.
I'm on the upside. Okay, now we'll go to Superintendent's Report. Thank you.
Thank you, President Driller. I want to start off by actually turning to Assistant Superintendent Todd Rivera to do an introduction. We have someone to introduce you to tonight, and then I will share my update.
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening, Superintendent Kramer, President Driller, and members of the board. I'm very pleased to welcome and introduce Annette Reichbart to our Fiscal Services team as the new Director of Fiscal Services. You'll be approving her position, hopefully, on the Personal Action Report on the consent agenda, but I just wanted to introduce her here. Annette has many years' experience in education as an instructor, administrator, and on the fiscal side as well, and community college side. So we're very lucky to have her, and we also found someone that actually lived in the area already and didn't have to move up here. So I'm really looking forward to working with Annette, and she'll be a great addition to our fiscal services team and the district. And I'd like to invite Annette to come up and maybe say a few words and tell a little bit about herself.
I could use my teacher voice and not need the microphone, but I'll come up here.
Well, President Driller, members of the board, Superintendent Kramer, cabinet, I'm so thrilled to be here. It is such an honor to work for Tahoe Truckee. My family and I moved here a couple of years ago. We live in Incline Village. I have been commuting to the Bay, and when this opportunity opened up, it was like the stars aligned. So Assistant Superintendent Rivera said, I have 25 years of public school experience. I have been a teacher, assistant principal, director, vice president at a community college, and I'm thrilled to be back in K-12. Just the energy from the students. It is so exciting, and I'm thrilled to be here, so thank you.
We're happy to have you. Any board comments on that? No, that's awesome. Thank you, thank you. I'm going to come back to you.
Yep, okay. Thank you. And I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone as well. And I want to thank everyone for their flexibility with having last week's board meeting be canceled and be gathering here tonight. So thank you to North Tahoe High School for switching on us. And I just want to give a shout out to our facilities team, our tech team, transportation team, because even when there is a snow day and students and teachers are hopefully enjoying a cozy day at home or maybe out on the slopes, there's a lot of staff still working to make sure it's ready for the next day. So just really appreciate our whole team and all the work they do to get facilities ready to reopen. And I do have 2 updates on the district strategic plan. You heard from North Tahoe School, and you're going to hear more about academic achievement when Assistant Superintendent Logan Melanie and her team present on CTE. So I have an update for support systems. And as you know, a part of that is making sure we're always improving our infrastructure and considering safety. And our district safety committee met in December, and a lot is going on behind the scenes. So every classroom now has a new emergency bucket with updated supplies, and those are important if we're ever in an extended shelter in place, so there's food and water, light sources, and so on. Those buckets also have the Stop the Bleed kits, and it's great to hear that we're going to have students at the school that could assist if we were in a large-scale emergency. That's wonderful. And then the district this committee is always considering our ALICE protocol, which is if we do have a violent incident on campus, how we respond. And they're just looking again at our current protocol by grade band to make sure it's age appropriate, that we're instructing staff and students in a meaningful way. And the committee made the decision that 2 staff members from each school will go to the advanced ALICE training so that they can become trainers. And that allows them to really look at the specific needs at each site and help the site come up with a robust plan in event of an emergency like that. And then over the next 2 years, the entire TTUSD Emergency Operations Manual. So picture a huge binder. That entire manual will be reviewed and updated. And each year we update our site plans, and those are all reviewed by our local fire and police departments. So we're always thinking about safety, and thanks to the District Safety Committee to make sure that we are doing everything we possibly can to be prepared. And then in our community connections strategic focus area, what we're hoping for is we want to proactively support belonging and inclusion for all our students, families, educators, and staff. And in November, Hanover helped us do a well-being and morale survey for our staff, and we got the results back recently, just at the new year. And the great news is that 83 to 92% of staff feel like they belong at their school site. They feel that sense of inclusion, and then also with the district. So that's exciting to see that something that is a priority that came through loud and clear in the strategic plan, that our staff feels like they're connected to the community. So that concludes my update tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I like the way that you continually remind us on our strategic plan where we're going. That's always helpful. Any board comments on that update? We good? Moving to 11.0, which would be resolution. Superintendent Kramer.
Yes, and it is my pleasure to recognize this amazing school board. We're so fortunate to have all of you here working as our governance team. So I would like to read the resolution aloud to you. Whereas the mission of the public schools is to meet the diverse educational needs of all children and to empower them to become competent, productive contributors to democratic society and an ever-changing world. Whereas locally elected and appointed school boards play an essential and vital role in a representative democracy, and decisions made by local boards of education directly influence instruction in Tahoe Truckee Unified School District's public schools. Whereas local school board members are committed to children and believe that all children can be successful learners and that the best education is tailored to the individual needs of the child. Whereas local school board members work closely with parents, educational professionals, and other community members to create the educational vision we want for our students. Whereas local school board members are responsible for ensuring the structure that provides a solid foundation for our school system. Whereas local school board members are strong advocates for public education and are responsible for communicating the needs of the school district to the public and the public's expectations of the district. Now, therefore, be it resolved that as the Superintendent Chief Learning Officer, I do hereby declare my appreciation to the members of the Tahoe Truckee Unified School District School Board and proclaim the month of January 2024 as School Board Recognition Month. Thank you all, and we have a little gift for you. No, it has a message on the front. Truly great board member is hard to find, difficult to part with, and impossible to forget. And that is all of you guys. And thanks to Jane Loomis, you have some wonderful treats for the rest of the meeting.
Oh, yes, Jane Loomis. Way to go. We will share those. Maybe.
And as strange as it may be, that we do need you to take action on the resolution.
Goodness. Wow. Thank you very, very much for that. I think we love our job. Anyone care to make a motion to approve Resolution 11?
Okay, I'll do it this time. I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 13, 2023-24 for School Board Appreciation Month. It does feel a little awkward, I would say, because, the cabinet and all the staff do all the work, but a big thanks, I think.
Is there a second?
I'll humbly second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Wow, too fun. It's like the chocolate. Moving on to 12.0, donation. Superintendent Kramer.
Yes, and for our first three donations, we'll be turning to Assistant Superintendent Logan Maloney.
Thank you, Superintendent Kramer, President Driller, and Board of Trustees. Truckee Optimist Club is providing a donation of $2,000 for the Alder Creek Middle School Grizzly Ranch and Avid programs. Grizzly Ranch not only fosters a strong sense of community among ACMS's sixth graders, but also significantly enriches their learning experiences through hands-on outdoor activities, leaving a lasting impact on both personal and academic development. AVID, which stands for Advancement via Individual Determination, empowers middle schoolers to take charge of their learning, cultivating essential skills in critical thinking, writing, collaboration, and reading, equipping them more than ever to thrive not only later in high school, but also in the opportunities of life ahead. It is staff's recommendation that the board accept this generous donation for the successful ACMS programs. Are there any questions from the board?
Not yet. Actually, not yet, but we'll ask for any public comment on that item, and then we'll turn it to the board. So no public comment. Questions for Assistant Superintendent? I will just make a comment, though, just that, as we always do, the donations in this community are out of control, and we appreciate, there's just so many of them, but it's always nice to be able to see what little ones they're doing, so instead of just doing a blanket donation, it's kind of cool to be able to say that the Truckee Optimist Club was able to help AVID, and that's something that I think brings us a little bit more closer to the connection of, that group now knows what they're doing, which I think is well noted and awesome. So with that, would anyone care to make a motion for 12.1?
I thank that Truckee Optimist Club and move to accept their donation of $2,000 for the Alder Creek Middle School Grizzly Ranch and Avid program.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. 12.2, back to you. Yes.
Assistant Superintendent Melanie.
The Truckee Optimist Club is again providing a donation of $1,000 for Alder Creek Middle School band program. Principal Larson shared that the ACMS Remarkable Band program not only nurtures students' musical talents, but also cultivates a collaborative spirit as they learn to read music and play harmoniously together, creating a rich and rewarding experience. It is staff's recommendation that the board accept this donation for the amazing ACMS band. Any questions?
Any public comment? And questions or comments from the board? Anyone, would someone please make a motion to accept 12.2?
I'll make a motion to accept the donation from the Truckee Optimist Club for the Alder Creek Middle School Band.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Moving to 12.3, Superintendent Kramer.
Assistant Superintendent Melanie.
Yes. The Truckee Donner Land Trust is providing a donation of $3,000 for the Sage Hen Outdoor Education Program. This program allows our TTUSD students to participate in valuable outdoor education opportunities. It is staff's recommendation that the board accept this generous donation. Any questions or comments?
Any public comment on that item? Seeing none, board comments or questions? Anyone care to make a motion for 12.3?
I'll move to accept the donation from the Truckee Donner Land Trust for the Sage Hen Outdoor Education Program.
Any second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. 12.4, back to Superintendent Kramer.
And for the next three, we will be asking Assistant Superintendent Chief Business Officer Todd Rivera to speak to them.
Thank you. So tonight, I'm pleased to present three donations to support the Truckee High School weight room upgrade and renovation. And just as a refresher, that renovation includes new flooring, new lifting stations, and all new weight equipment in the very heavily utilized Truckee High School weight room. And this is really a continuation from last month. You remember, if you recall, in December, the board approved several donations related to the renovation and upgrade of Truckee High School weight room in excess of over $40,000. So just going to show how supportive and generous our community, just individuals as well as local organizations and businesses are to all the efforts at our local schools. So with that, these donations, there are three of them, and I just wanted to highlight them really quick, and then we can approve them individually. I can get my mouse working. Okay, so the first donation, 12.4, is a donation for $500 from Palisades Tahoe Ski Holdings LLC. So thank you to them. The second donation is for $10,250, a very generous donation from an anonymous donor. And the third donation is from the Rotary Club of Truckee, generously donating $2,000 towards the efforts.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Rivera. And then let's start off with 12.4. Any public comment on any of these? And any comments from us? Okay, 12.4. Would there be a motion? I'll make a motion to approve 12.4.
Second?
Oh, let's see. Who is it?
No, it's same buzzer. Danielle, it was Danielle.
It was
Lupita needs a name.
Lupita. I'm going to say it's Pat, Lupita. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. And 12.5, a motion for that?
I will move to approve the donation from the anonymous donor to support the weight room at Truckee High.
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. And the last donation is 12.6. Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion to accept the donation from the Rotary Club of Truckee to support the weight room upgrade.
Perfect. And a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much.
just-
That's huge. Yep, comment?
I just want to congratulate the Truckee community because last month I was blown away by the amount that parents and businesses donated, now this, and this is a great way, a great example of how to rally around our kids and what's important to each culture at each school. And I just want to congratulate and thank everyone who's done that, and thank any further donations that might be coming in. This is really exciting for that school.
Thank you, Chris. 13.0 is, looks like 4 amazing grants, and I'll turn that to you, Superintendent Kramer.
Yes, for the first one, we're going to ask Assistant Superintendent Malady to speak.
Thank you again. Martis Camp Community Foundation is generously providing TTUSD a grant in the amount of $12,000 for the Sage Hen Outdoor Education Program. This program provides local students access to a standards-based learning environment in their own community. Students learn a variety of skills and gain knowledge about many different topics, which may include local ecosystems, flora and fauna of the Sierra Nevada, macroinvertebrates, water quality and issues, and plant and animal identification. Sage Hen Outdoor Education Program is a partnership between TTUSD, Sage Hen Creek Field Research Station, Sierra Watershed Education Program, and the Shane McConkey Foundation. It's staff's recommendation that the board accept this grant. Are there any questions or comments?
Thank you for that. Assistant Superintendent Maloney. Whew, a lot of things to say. 13.1, anyone have any comments or questions on that? I guess I'll ask for a motion for 13.1.
I'll move to approve the grant from Martis Camp Community Foundation for the Sage Hen Outdoor Education Program.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. I will make my comment, though. When you said that you had all the entities involved with Sage Hen, which was the colleges and as well as the research center, same thing with the climate activist meeting that we were at. It's just nice to see that we are, as an educational system, joining in with other educational systems. UC Davis being the one that was called out in the geothermal discussion, is that it's important that we use our resources that we have here, and we've got some pretty good ones, and so it's great that we are able to connect them all. Thank you for letting me speak. And then 13.2, could we get a motion for that?
13.2.
Oh, no, I need a description.
That's okay. We'll have our Executive Director of Student Services, Dr. Anna Marie Cohen.
Thank you, Superintendent Kramer, and good evening, President Driller, Board of Trustees, and community. The Yo Bro, A Call to Men, is a club at Truckee High School that focuses on community service, graduation, and redefining the man box. This year, the service project is partnering with Roundhouse Makerspace to design and fabricate a bike rack to give back to the town of Truckee. There's a focus on changing the negative tone around e-bikes and give students the opportunity to experience essential skills that will allow them to pursue a trade in the future. The Rotary Club of Truckee is generously providing a grant to support the Yo Bro Club. It is staff's recommendation the Board of Trustees accept this grant from the Rotary Club of Truckee in the amount of $1,750.
Thank you for that. Any board comments?
I'll be honest, when I first read this on the agenda, the Yo Bro, A Call to Men Club, I had, I needed more information, even though I'd read what was written there. And so I went online, and this is a nationally organization.
Yeah.
And they provide a lot of opportunities for kids to give back to their community and to work on projects and to, to work on things that are productive and helpful for their community. And I think it said in your write-up there to give back to their community. So, yes. Yeah, at first, I don't know about their name, but yeah.
Any other comments? That was good. Thank you for doing a little research on that. Good effort. Would anyone care to make a motion to accept the grant from the Rotary Club?
I will move to accept the grant from Rotary Club for the Yo Bro, A Call to Men Club at Truckee High.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. 13.3, Superintendent Kramer.
Yes, and for this, we'll return back to Dr. Cohen.
Thank you. The Katz Amsterdam Foundation, through the Tahoe Truckee Community Foundation, donated $15,000. This will be used to support student mental and behavioral health needs in the Tahoe Truckee area during the period of December 1st, 2023 through November 30th, 2024. It is staff's recommendation the Board of Trustees accept this grant from Katz Amsterdam Foundation provided through the Tahoe Truckee Community Foundation in the amount of $15,000.
Any board comments on this? Any public comments? Sorry. Okay. That is awesome. And I do think we've had this foundation has donated to us a lot. Like, we've seen a lot of this. Is there someone care to make a motion for 13.3?
I'll move to accept the grant for the mental health program from the Katz Amsterdam Foundation.
In a second? I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
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 An aye. Just a quick run-through, Todd, I'm not very fast at this number, but just looking at the amount from the donations to the grants, it's almost like 40, 50,000. Like, we have an amazing community. Like, that just, and these are things above and beyond what we normally do and what they get. So just a huge hats off to our community for recognizing what we as a district feel is important for our kids, and then them supporting it. And I like what Chris said about just the Truckee High. We are really, really fortunate to be here. Yeah. Moving on to the consent agenda, is there any changes to the existing? Oh, we have one more?
Yes.
Oh, I checked it off prime. Oh, sorry. 13.4.
Dr. Cohen?
All right, thank you again. For the past several years, Tahoe Truckee Community Foundation has granted money annually to the STEP program through the Wisner Family Tahoe Endowment Fund. The funding is used for supplies and enrichment activities for the STEP program, and it is staff's recommendation the Board of Trustees accept this grant in the amount of $2,000 from the Tahoe Truckee Community Foundation.
I totally apologize for my out-of-orderness. Were there public comment on this grant, and then any board comments? Seeing none, would someone like to make a motion for 13.4?
I'll make a motion to accept the grant from the Tahoe Truckee Community Foundation to the STEP program for supplies and enrichment activities.
Thank you. In a second?
I'll second.
Ooh, that goes to Kirsten. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much. Moving to the consent agenda, is there any reason to pull any items from the consent agenda from staff or from you?
Nope, not tonight, President Dritler.
Okay. Any board make a comment on the consent? Sure.
You'll notice that 3 of these items are to approve overnight field trips for the Truckee High Band, and this is all one teacher doing this, Jesse Steele, and I just want to hold him up for doing this. I'm not sure if I should congratulate him and thank him or question his sanity, but to give up that much of his own personal time to take these band students on these band trips for multiple days, I think should really be applauded.
Yep.
So thank you, Jesse.
Awesome for that. Thank you, Pat. With that, could we get a motion for the consent agenda, please?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Second.
Pat seconded, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, thank you for that. We are going to go to 16.2. I think CSEA is in their chapter meeting, so Melissa said she wasn't going to be able to be here. And 16.2 is TTEA. So Aaron, thank you for being here.
It's almost done. Well, welcome back. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody had an enjoying winter break. And then I added, and snow day, because this was written for last week. I always like having the 2-week break after being slammed, and it feels so good to go, just kind of take that time and relax and visit and see family, and then come back and end up with piles on my desk because it's finals time, and I have seniors who have waited till the very end. Friday is the last day, so we'll see. The new year provides a good time for all of us, and we just did this in our Senior Pathways class, to reflect and plan. I always tell the seniors, you hear a lot about making New Year's resolutions, and you hear a lot about them not lasting. So we reflect on what happened in 2023 that was good, where there was a challenge, what they learned from the challenge. They even got to set a little playlist for their 2023, and then we do a little planning of, with 2 columns, what did you want to do more of in 2024 that you did in 23? And what would you like to do less of? And so we kind of take that and we look for just kind of helping them plan, especially as they're getting ready to move on to the next step. And we like to do that as adults as well. We always are planning. And so I like that we are also doing with the survey coming back, I was able to kind of go over some of the briefly the stuff that came through, and it gives us a really good chance to reflect on what we were doing and plan our next steps forward. So I'm really looking forward to next month's meeting on that and continuing our comm work and looking at the wellness of the teachers. Just the last thing, because it's been fairly calm and quiet, TTEA did receive a grant from the CTA for supporting president release time. And so last Friday, I got to go to an all-day training and really started questioning my sanity on what I was getting myself into. So we'll be working as an e-board team and putting together my plan for, the goal is for me to get into sites. And so the plan for CTA for me is about once every 2 weeks on having a release day and going and visiting sites and getting us out there, supporting union membership, strengthening that, and seeing what's going on out there. But other than that, happy January and go finals. Woo.
Erin, excuse me, where did you get the grant from? From TTA? You got a grant from?
From CTA.
Okay.
It's a new program that CTA is doing for president release time. So it's this semester and then all next year, and then they're going to re-evaluate to see where they are. So there was a bunch of us training. And it was really interesting because the table I was sitting at, it was 3 different presidents, all from Northern California, way north, Crescent City, Eureka. And some of the things, and their CTA person, so their John Halverson was sitting next to me, and the things that they were talking about that were happening at their school sites and with their union and the angst with the board and stuff like that, I just sat there and went, I have no idea what you're talking about. This is great. I am so glad I'm not up with you. So it's always reassuring to go back and see, especially with us building our strong relationships and stuff. But
I appreciate the teamwork in the sense that other entities are looking at the functionality of unions and the districts and how to make it so that we are amiably working. But it's nice to have someone else on the outside as well as just recognizing it. So, and that they were willing to financially speak, or support, excuse me.
We also, one other thing, when I was there, one of the gals that works for CTA she says, oh, Tahoe, Truckee. She says, we use your school board organization that we did last year for the election of you. She says, you are now when they go out and they train for school boards, particularly in some of the more contentious areas, they have us as our example. So we are now famous.
We are. Would you like to wait? We are. You may have one of our cookies. You can share. Totally fun. Thanks, Erin. That's actually fun. 17.0, Educational Services, Superintendent Kramer.
Yes, and it's my pleasure to introduce Assistant Superintendent Melanie for this item.
Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent Kramer, President Driller, and Board of Trustees. Tonight, Educational Services is presenting our current career technical education pathways and our future action steps to meet the 2023-2024 planned actions from the district strategic plan. Thank you. We will ask direct questions to the board to elicit your guidance as we plan the future of the TTUSD CTE programs. The intent of the public discussion is for you to share your additional thoughts that will influence this important work. Feel free to respond to any, all, or none of the prompts. Going forward, Educational Services will use the acronym CTE for Career Technical Education rather than STEM, and will still meet the science, technology, engineering, and math standards when evaluating our needs assessment and future offerings. To begin each meeting at Educational Services, we ask participants to participate in a social-emotional learning activity. Today, we will use an inclusive welcome question to bring purpose to each participant. So, board, what was your first job and/or what was your first dream job?
Oh, is this an interactive activity?
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm not going first.
I'll go with my first job. Okay. Hi, Dee Dee Driller. My first job was mowing lawns and painting houses in Vermont with my dad, who was a school teacher, and we had the summers off. So I thought every kid worked with their dad on the summer. And my first dream job was actually, when I was, these were my first. I worked as a, I'm not sure what it's called, but I worked at a stable, and there was all these amazing horses with a lot of carriages, horse carriages, and so I was a horse carriage driver, so I thought that that's where I was going.
So cute. I'll go next. So I swept hair at a beauty salon at 12 years old and was paid under the table.
Illegally.
Illegally. Well, back in the day, who knows? And I always wanted to be, and sometimes still kind of covet being a transatlantic flight attendant.
You just want to travel.
I think I worked at a bakery with a little a white and blue gingham uniform with a white apron and a white hat, and I got fired. I wasn't very good at putting the right cupcakes in the pink box. Not very good at taking instruction. And then it's an and/or, actually.
That's right.
Right, so we
Yes.
don't, if I answered one, then I don't have to answer the
Check.
second one.
Yes, you passed.
See,
Well
you
done.
can follow instructions.
When it's to my advantage.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do both. So my first job was, I was actually a babysitter, which I think a lot of people do when they're first starting out. My first real job that wasn't babysitting was I worked at a Togo's, and within 6 months I was a manager at the age of 15. Togo's is like a sandwich shop, kind of like Porta Subs. Yeah. So that, yeah, 15 I was a manager. And working for the town of Truckee was my first dream job.
Right? My first real paying job where I wasn't an indentured servant for my father in the summers was, he was a fly fisherman, a trout fly fisherman. Of course, he took me out and taught me all about his fishing. And when I turned 13 or 14, he came across an opportunity for me to go to work at his cousin's trout hatchery in Utah. And so they flew me out there, and it was a production trout hatchery. They raised and prepared trout for restaurants and so on. And this was a while ago. They did not have automated fish gutting machines at those times. So my first job, 13 years old, was to stand around a sort of a trough of the fish would come in, and there were 4 of us, and we would gut fish for 8 hours a day. So I got pretty good at it. I was really fast. And so when I returned home, when the summer was over, my dad and I went out fishing, and one of the fish that I caught, the first one I gutted in front of him, I did in about 3 seconds. And finally, I impressed him with something. It was nice. I was happy with that. And I can, to this day, still do a pretty quick job of it. So my dream job really was teaching. I had all kinds of jobs before that, but that was the one that I'd always hoped for. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, and notice that we began to hear our journeys and decide what we are passionate about before we have to make that ultimate decision, and also what we don't want to do before we pay a lot of money to find out what we want. Thank you again for sharing. We are using our roadmap to meet the 3 areas of focus in our approved district strategic plan. There are specific actions to meet to engage and empower our students the same way you just were. And to do that, we must provide the necessary programs and services that allow all students to graduate from high school prepared to succeed in life, the workplace, college, and career. Our work in the next 3 years is to ensure we are providing the support, courses, and pathways to meet our students' post-secondary plans that they're excited about. In the strategic plan, our 2026 TTUSD CTE objective and vision is that we will meet is to offer all students TK through 12 opportunities to explore areas of academic and personal interest, including enhancement of current educational programs that prepare students for college, career, technical, trade, and the workforce. Through feedback from the task force last year, from our community members and educational partners, we've identified 3 key actions to be addressed over the next 3 years. This year, we are focusing on cross-district collaboration in career technical education, college career readiness, and the work-based learning opportunities. This is our initial focus because through strong community partnerships and student opportunities, TTUSD will be able to identify the needed skills for acquisition at each academic level. We will then backwards map and start to plan at the high school level to the pre-kindergarten level to ensure both hard and soft skills are being taught. Over the next 3 years, these actions will support TTUSD in offering all students at all levels access to articulated curriculum that better prepares them for college and career when they graduate. Now I would like to introduce the dynamic team from Ed Services working closely with me on the CTE Strategic Plan action steps. Sean Roderick, the Director of Educational Services, and Yvette Herrera, a previous CTE and science teacher and now an Ed Services teacher on special assignment.
Good evening. I'm Sean Good evening. I'm Sean Roderick, Director of Educational Services. To share a little about my CTE background with you, my time includes teaching child development through the CTE education pathway. I was a program developer and have had the pleasure of overseeing CTE programs as a site administrator.
And my name is Yvette Herrera, and I come from a long line of CTE workers. My father, for instance, is a custom woodworker, and he started his highly successful workshop in his high school CTE classes and continues to this day. I was a CTE completer myself in high school as agriculture. I continued on in college to get an agricultural bachelor's degree. I continued to be a CTE agricultural teacher and an FFA advisor prior to coming to TTUSD. And I continued on to teach science here and am now a TOSA. And so my passion for TTUSD and CTE just continues to grow.
We have so much to celebrate in TTUSD. Some of our highlights include all CTE teachers are credentialed in their respective fields. All teachers have numerous hours in their industry and align their classes with the CTE model curriculum. As a district, we offer sequential pathways for all students. I was fortunate enough to attend the CTE conference this past November. As I attended the 2-day conference, I felt a sense of pride. As I was attending various workshops, I recognized that we are doing the same work that was being presented. When I returned, I shared with Logan that TTUSD should apply to present at next year's conference.
TTUSD currently offers high school pathways that support 4 of the 5 Greater Sacramento region labor market: business and entrepreneurship, retail, hospitality, and tourism, energy, construction, and utilities, and health. We currently do not meet the education and development sector. However, we are really excited about this potential opportunity. Our CTE pathways are successfully and meaningfully integrating technical skills, academic concepts, and teaching career-based qualities and skills that are transferable to many career possibilities. In addition, the middle schools and elementary schools offer enrichment opportunities that develop soft skills and build interest for high school CTE pathways and future careers. The enrichment opportunities currently offered at the elementary and middle schools directly support all pathways currently offered at the high school level. Teachers such as Heidi Bushway-Verkler provide avenues for students to continue this learning from home, over breaks, and while on vacation. For instance, her recommendation this past month for students to explore the Hour of Code over winter break, which is a new artificial intelligence AI coding game added this year and supports 3 of the 4 CTE pathways at the high school level. What is not listed here are the hard and soft skills taught at both elementary and middle school levels that prepare students for a high school CTE pathway, college, and career. Hard skills at the middle school level are CNC router training, rope, PVC, and beginning metalwork. At the elementary level, current hard skills are taught through Tinker Lab, cooking, and Legos. Soft skills taught at the elementary and middle school levels are communication, critical thinking, measurements, and teamwork. These hard and soft skills directly prepare students for career inspiration, confidence skill building, and future courses. We are currently working on expanding these learning opportunities to all grade levels and all school sites across TTUSD. We want to provide you with a sample articulation of our TK-12 pathways and integrations to help bring these amazing opportunities to life. Here, we're looking at the THS Gone Boarding program. Student enrollment in the course not only continues to increase, but the skills students are learning will last them a lifetime. Gone Boarding combines the hard skills from a traditional woodshop course and that of a design and innovation course. Students are encouraged to design and build products such as skateboards, surfboards, snowboards. And as early elementary students, many may have participated in STEAM classes, Clay Club, Tinker Lab, Legos, where they learned foundational skills to think creatively, build and mold with their hands, becoming more coordinated. These skills were then transferred to the middle school level where their design thinking was further challenged and they began to learn the introductory skills such as using that CNC router and 3D printing. Once graduating high school, our Gone Boarding pathway students are prepared to be architects with their critical design thinking or to become a landscape designer with their understanding of math and science. This next sample articulation is that of both North Tahoe and Truckee High's medical science pathways. These courses can inspire students to become doctors, nurses, trainers, EMTs, veterinarians, and so much more. As we heard earlier, in the 22-23 school year, North Tahoe did an amazing job with their science medicine pathway. Within just 1 year, they were able to expand it to offer sports medicine too. Student interest continues as they eye for Sports Medicine 3. North Tahoe works tirelessly to offer their students valuable learning experiences, such as visiting the UNR Cadaver Lab, attending that annual high school sports medicine seminar, and visiting the Reno Aces athletic trainer. Students are required to complete those 20 hours of internship hours throughout the year, which can be completed with a medical professional or the school's athletic trainer. Ms. Lamb's students are experiencing real-time first responder situations that they may face in their future careers.
Before we opened the West Wing at Truckee High, I researched 21st century wood shops. The intent was to offer courses that teach skills in more than just woodworking so that we can prepare students for multiple trades. As many of you know, I found Gone Boarding online. Our current pathways, such as the product design Gone Boarding, allow students to explore possible careers before committing to a possibly expensive major or expensive trade school. The creator of Gone Boarding, Bill Curtis, asked his alumni what they are doing now, and here are 2 direct quotes from his students. The second is from a 4th-year landscape architecture student at Michigan State University. After taking onboarding, they are now passionate about stormwater infiltration, land planning, action sports design, wave pool technology, state parks, trail systems, and conservation agriculture. All of these passions can come out of our pathways, both the current and with our planned future strategic plan action steps to combine outdoor education in our CTE pathways. The snapshot of this spreadsheet identifies our strengths and gaps in our CTE opportunities. We will be using this to meet this year's action step 1.3.2. We will use the results of the needs assessment to reach out to business owners for work-based learning and internship opportunities. Board, using your personal lens, what community partnerships should we be sure to include for our future work-based learning internship opportunities for TTUSD students?
You're going to know what I'm going to say. School bus drivers, training, school.
I think we should be collaborating with our mountain bike stores, the retailers that are selling mountain bikes, to be able to introduce a mountain bike mechanical training course so that we can offer opportunities for our students to work as mountain bike mechanics. And they do that in Moab Unified School District, if you want to look that up.
We had a parent come to a Lakeside board meeting 4 years ago, something like that, and she suggested that students be able to internship with the school district in areas like HVAC, maintenance, during the summers. I think that's a great idea.
This is just making me think about kind of a lot of our local small businesses that are really entrepreneurs. And so I think there are a lot of opportunities for things that the onboarding program especially would speak to. So we have a lot of like van build companies locally. We have interior designers that kind of have pushed us, at least in Truckee, to go beyond thinking about design the way that we've thought about, and they're actually very community-based. So the one I'm thinking about is like Tahoe Modern is a company that does that. But there are a lot of really just self-driven businesses in the community. I think that would provide a lot of opportunities to have people experience what it's like to, one, be an entrepreneur, but two, to work for yourself. And there's a lot of other components that are important as part of that, including sort of the business aspect of kind of operating your own business. So what does that mean? The finance side of it, the communication side of it, the management side of it, leadership. So for me, I think that would be kind of a key. And I'll think of more specifics that I can give you in an email.
I love all those ideas. I didn't think of any of them. And sort of the businesses world is not my area expertise, and so when I venture into an area that I'm not real familiar with, I usually think that everyone has thought of. If I think of something, someone else has already thought of it earlier. So I'm going to mention the area of education, I think, and I know that we have students that get credit for being teaching assistants for elementary teachers, but I wonder if we are perhaps missing an opportunity to provide students with internships, perhaps not necessarily in the area of teaching, although that would be great also, but for aides or other aspects of the educational business. There's more than just teachers working in the schools.
Thank you. And again, just the power of discussion. Like you said, Pat, we don't always think of everything. And so together, it just gives us so many more ideas. Thank you so much for sharing.
What I will share with you in the following slides is information from our College Career Indicator Dashboard and how the dashboard aligns to TTUSD's CTE pathways. Here we see the class of 2023's college and career preparedness. The state of California temporarily removed the performance levels and replaced them with percentage status only. This change was due to the fact that college career indicators were unavailable for the 2022 school year, leaving the performance levels undetermined for the 2023 dashboard. When looking at the data shown, we are pleased that 58.8% of our students rank prepared for college career compared to the state's 43.9% of students statewide. We're also providing you a comparison of our student subgroups and their preparedness. Our white, Hispanic, students with disabilities, and social economically disadvantaged populations all outperform their peers across the state. Our EL population is at pace with statewide peers. While we want to continue increasing TTUSD student college and career readiness, we want to celebrate our progress and achievements compared to the state at large. Career technical education and college career readiness form the state's indicators to determine whether graduates are classified as prepared to enter the workforce at 2- and 4-year college and universities. Here we see the minimum requirements students need to meet to be considered prepared when entering college and careers. As you read the criteria, you will notice that many items such as CASP, ELA, math, ADG readiness, and CTE pathway completion are all specified goals of the TTUSD LCAP and TTUSD Site SPSA goals. As a district, we are aligned to ensure all students become college and career ready as outlined by the state. CTE and academics are combined to be considered prepared using Indicator 7. Students are being upheld by the state to perform well on the state assessments. Ed Services is working to improve opportunities for students to become college and career ready, including high achievement on the CASP, earning the syllabi literacy, scoring a 3 or 4 on AP exams, enrolling in dual enrollment, and completing a CTE pathway. In the recent weeks, the Truckee Chamber of Commerce requested that Ed Service meet with them to present an overview of current CTE offerings, the importance of school-to-community connections, opportunities for our students, and TTUSD's strategic plan action items pertaining to CTE. Educational Services also hosted district-wide CTE Committee PLC consisting of teachers in the district, a CTE Subcommittee PLC consisting of teachers, administrators, community, and student representatives. These groups met to inventory what TTUSD is currently offering and how we may align expanding opportunities pre-K through 12 for our students. As we continue this work in the upcoming weeks, Ed Services will meet with North Tahoe Community Alliance to share the information that was shared with the Truckee Commerce, CTE Subcommittee, and CTE teachers. TTUSD is fortunate that Amber Burke is the chair of Truckee Chamber of Commerce. Amber will be available to have a direct conversation related to our CTE programs and that development of student work-based learning opportunities and internship capabilities with our greater community partners. I wanted to share with you an overview of our CTE teacher PLC from this past December. First and foremost, the teachers were happy to be together again and collaborate on CTE. It was great to hear their celebrations, the excitement of the work being done in their classrooms, and celebrating their student successes. During our time together, we reviewed our primary funding source, the Career Technical Education Incentive Grant, commonly referred to as the CTIG. The CTIG has several components. The application is competitive, and to complete the application, we work closely with our business department, high school administration team, and teachers to ensure that we represent our programs to their full extent. The team reviewed the self-scoring rubric. The scoring ranges from 0 to 5. We celebrated the 5 areas we scored the highest in, earning a 4 or 5, and reviewed 4 areas of growth where we scored 3 or below. We were excited to hear from the teachers that the work is being held up in their classes. Our teachers provide work-based learning opportunities throughout the year with guest speakers and field trips. Teachers also shared with the team how students connect with outside businesses and develop relationships that will take them beyond the classroom. As a team, we identified members of our community that we are currently working with. It was wonderful to hear the excitement in their voices, recognizing as we collaborated that we were doing the majority of the work. However, we need a system to track the work being completed. We left the day with new processes and systems to incorporate that will allow us to track our work and complete the rubric with evidence of great work happening in the classrooms.
Later that day, a CTE subcommittee met, which consisted of CTE teacher representatives from each pathway, an elementary and middle school representative, Truckee Chamber Chair, TTUSD Community PR, and a TTUSD parent. We ensured that this group was made up of members, with some members that were a part of the strategic planning committee work that was done last year to ensure that we are supporting all members in our TTUSD goals and focus actions. The subcommittee analyzed the Greater Sacramento region top job market sectors. During this analysis, committee members identified strong facts that stood out to them concerning our local labor market. The committee identified TTUSD's strong attributes, where our CTE pathways are aligned with the labor market. The group worked to identify areas of need, such as increasing work-based learning opportunities that our pathways can provide to increase preparedness and transition into the workforce, college, and career. From this work, the subcommittee identified the need for a survey to be given to students, parents, staff, and the community. These surveys aim to complete the needs assessment referenced from Action Step 1.3.2 and will provide specific data in celebrations and areas for growth.
Thank you for participating in our discussion tonight. A few weeks ago, we shared a sample of questions from the CTE subcommittee with you. These questions will be utilized in a needs assessment survey that Yvette just spoke about that will be sent out to all educational partners for feedback. Feedback will be utilized to drive action steps 1.3.1, 1.3.2, and 3.3.1, which brings together the collaboration with community partners to support learning and expand opportunities of CTE, work-based learning, and essentially being college and career ready. So the question we have for you is, having reviewed some of the proposed questions for the survey and from the CTE committees, and then again using your personal lens, what do you want to ensure is being asked in any of the surveys for any of the educational partners?
I don't know because I feel like there's three different components, right? There's the students. Like when we did the visits with, I went with Superintendent Geisels to almost every single school when she was going through the strategic planning process and asking questions of the students, right? And what they wanted to know was the older kids, middle school and higher, how do I make money right out of school, right? And then there's a very tricky, evolving workforce, at least on the lakeside. If there's anywhere that there's a glaring difference between the Truckee communities and the lakeside, it's the work availability and opportunity, at least how I see it as a lakeside local. And then there's, what we offer the kids and what we're trying to grow and realize what they need. So I asked you some questions during the homework, and I was like, there's too many people to please. I think the community partners would just, I feel like there's more opportunity on the Truckee side, and not more opportunity, more variety. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I'm not really sure. I was a little baffled with that.
Well, so as far as the survey questions go, and I apologize if these are ideas that you've already had and have disposed of, or if I missed them and somehow, oh, Pat, that is on the survey, but I looked at it and I was thinking that the questions that you've been asking us maybe are questions to pose to students and parents that are taking the survey. Where is their interest, and what internship ideas I suppose that they may have, and and sort of find your direction from the student voice. I'm not sure if that was in the survey. And in regards to community partners, I think it's always good to know before we set things up, to know what their level of commitment is in time and in if there's funding, possible funding, before students get involved in it.
Absolutely.
I don't really know what the question is. Can you please rephrase it to me so I can actually, because it feels like it was a lot of multiple mini questions, and I don't want to get carried away here.
We are drafting surveys, one for students, one for parents, families, one for community members, et cetera, to get their feedback on what internships or work-based learning or other pathways we could offer or explore. So for you, what internships or work-based learning or pathways would you want to be sure we explore or ask about?
Okay, well, I think there's a lot that I want to say, but for the sake of time, we don't have all night. But we can have a follow-up conversation if you'd like. But for one of the things I think that probably would be helpful is if we partnered with our ski areas, snowboard areas a little bit more, and actually worked on like internships, pathways for like snowmobile mechanics, lift, technology. Pete Roski, what does he do? Did he? Lift engineering?
Maintenance.
Lift maintenance, yeah. There's a huge gap in finding people who can do that right now. And there's a huge percentage of them are retiring. So it's kind of a crisis. And we desperately need, young, energetic people to fill those positions. And then also clearly nursing, healthcare, and social work internships to give young people an opportunity to understand what it's like to work in those fields before they commit to the educational process. Thanks.
Pat, I like the student-driven, which I think is always something that we need to remember, that, we can be creating what we think is important, but I think it's one of the, and I mentioned that earlier with the high school, we need to hear from you and what's going to work, and I think that's how the one at North Tahoe started with the sports medicine, is that we needed it. And also what you just said about, my two thoughts were asking our population, which is our students, and then looking at our community. And again, I'm always, how do we make our community successful with what we have? And we have a huge labor force, as Kirsten just said, in terms of our high school students. And how do we get them to sort of, I wouldn't say help out on our labor shortage, but I would say that if you look at the way a lot of our kids stay in the industry, or they stay in these small towns, a lot of individual employees, like self-employed people. But I also do think that, with that being said, I'm all about making our community successful with what we had. And my grandfather used to say that every town needs a bobbin factory so that you can survive. So how is it that we would survive with what we've got in Tahoe? And that's one of my main ones after asking the students. But then trying to be, and you mentioned IT, but trying to be a little bit more creative in terms of the outside, the next step up. I still think we're in a bubble. We are, we're so fortunate for where we are, but just my other third point was just making sure that we're still above, we're not just placating ourselves right here, that we are looking at IT, we're looking at the fashion design or new things that may not, like our fashion is very different than anywhere else. But, so those are just my three thoughts on what what our career plans would be. But I think that and again, maybe I'm speaking out of line, but I think that we'll find that once we get our community involved, and if we get a nice survey out, when you said you got half of our people responding, which is more than a lot of other surveys, I think that we are fortunate that we have a community that is involved, and I think that our importance is to keep our community involved, older, younger, and middle. Like as Kirsten said, people are retiring. We have an older population, but our entire lakeside population is drastically changed. And we have so many younger, new people that have great ideas that we just need to sort of grab them in on all this. Because there's a lot of new careers that are in town that we haven't had. You know what I mean? Like, so that's, I don't know, I think that we just have to use what we have, as well as being creative.
Thank you.
That was my short 3.
These are all great ideas. I am not the person to ask about what a survey question should be because I'm terrible at doing those. So I will self-admit that. That's not a strength of mine. But it did make me think about, just in this discussion too, that what we have out there right now meets sort of 4 of the 5 labor markets. And so I feel like, one, what's the missing labor market? And is that something that should be, sort of more highlighted in the questions overall? But then 2, what are those emerging markets? And maybe asking that question, like, what do you see as sort of the emerging job trends? And are those things that we should consider? Because things do move quickly, but then things also stay stagnant at the same time. And when I look at what we offer, it's great, it's so diverse. Food and hospitality is going to change rapidly because it already has. Look what happened during COVID. But there's a lot more unique jobs that people think are just inventing for themselves because they don't want the typical 8 to 5. Maybe they don't feel like communication is their strength. They want to do something that's more independent or whatever it is. But I just feel like asking sort of that question about what's emerging, what you see as emerging, might give us a glimpse into more interests that are out there too, for those new careers that could formulate itself into another offering.
Thank you so much for your thoughtful responses.
As we look forward to meeting the action steps in the strategic plan by 2026, we collaborate on ways to scale up and meet our goals. We are excited to share some of our next steps. As we've heard, we are preparing to send surveys to our students, teachers, and parents. Our team will work closely with Amber to share a thought exchange survey with our community educational partners. We will continue to meet with our teachers and subcommittees, collaborating and learning on exploration opportunities we can provide to our pre-K-8 programs. We are brainstorming an educational pathway as education was identified as a need in our local labor market report. We are implementing systems to meet quarterly with our community partners and provide support from educational services to align and assign internships, job shadowing, and career exploration opportunities for our students. The work is ongoing as we develop and plan together. We will bring opportunities forward for our students to be competitive and prepared for career successes as they graduate from TTUSD.
And as does the Ed Services Department at the end of each meeting, we are going to ask our participants, the board, to partake in an SEL intentional closure activity. Today we will use the whip around strategy to be thought-provoking on today's presentation and how you may be able to support the TTUSD vision. So board, in one word, how can you support the 2026 TTUSD CTE vision?
Approval.
Advocacy.
Foresight.
Innovation.
Thank you so much. That concludes our discussion info item.
Nice work. Thank you for that. That was fun. We do like interactive, and we definitely have some comments here and there. Any public comment on that presentation? Thumbs up. Thank you for that. That was great. Thank you guys for staying so late and giving us all that. That was well received. And I'm not sure if everyone knows that we did get homework beforehand reviewing this, and we were told that we would be getting some interactiveness. But I do like the fact, and I think that we as a board, I know have said this before, that our interactive time is limited just because we have to always do it in public. And we are always in a, we want to be cognizant of everyone else's time, that we do most of our homework off-site. And then we approve everything quickly through here, and oftentimes public can't hear our discourse, and we often don't get it. So, Logan, thank you for that opportunity. And again, we do have sometimes great conversations off the diocese, but in terms of having everyone understand and having us be able to do 5 at once is something we don't always get. So I appreciate that, and I'm sure you guys are excited about that as well.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
I just wanted to say, Sean, when the board has the privilege to go to these board conferences, they're annually, and I think we're on a rhythm of every other year. Did I say annually or monthly? They're annually. So I feel the same way. I sit and I'm like, oh my gosh, we've already dealt with that, or, oh, that's really good insight into something we're working on already. You know what I mean? So I always feel really proud of our district in that way. And I wanted to say this was a really meaty presentation, and I feel like there's a new breath into our CTE, and I really appreciate your leadership in that. And I really, it was a great presentation. I have to say the slides that I enjoyed is not the right word, but that I got so much out of was the, like the path to industry, how we start planting those seeds as early as elementary school, and though maybe we kind of know it, or as a parent in the classroom from kinder to now a senior, I'm like, oh, I can kind of see something, but to see it like that, it's like a very purposeful way to educate our students, and I just really loved that. I think it was 1 or 2 slides where you showed us how that happens. And then I think I just really wanted to say I appreciate with this new leadership just the positive, and the strategic plan is just so perfect, right? But I think we were in some groups together. I'm like, I don't know, these teachers are really smart. And you were one of those. So I like seeing you in this position, but I just wanted to say I just really appreciate that it's forward-thinking and that it's positive. And I just can't wait to see how we evolve, And as always, I have to put in my plug for community colleges, vocational, technical schools, and just out-of-the-box internships, because not everyone can afford $40,000 plus a year. So you were speaking my language when you're like, let's figure this out before we spend all the money. So yeah, good job, you guys. Thank you so much.
Anyone else, board comments on that? Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving to Business Services 18.0, Superintendent Kramer.
Yes, and for this, Mr. Rivera will speak.
Thank you. So tonight I'm going to present our annual and 5-year developer fee accounting report. And just some background on that. Many public agencies, including the school district, charges fees or collects fees on new residential and commercial industrial development within the boundaries of the school district. TTUSD has been collecting these fees, which we call collectively developer fees, since 1988. These fees that we collect are used specifically for school facilities improvements and modernizations of our existing facilities. And over the years, we've utilized these fees to supplement our bond program, as an example, with measures E and U, to contribute to be able to supplement some of the projects that we're doing, and also standalone projects, expansions of existing facilities, placement of portable classrooms, et cetera. So as a requirement of charging these residential and commercial development fees, we are required at the end of the fiscal year, within 180 days of the end of the fiscal year, which the last one would be 2022-23, to provide information to the public and also the board, specifically the uses of the fee, the type of fee, the amount of fee, what we're planning to spend these fees on in the future, and then also looking back 5 years and trying to see if any of the fees that we've collected over the last 5 years, if we're still holding those and we have not spent them yet. And if we have not spent them, then we have to determine how we will spend them moving forward in the future. So just some of the highlights of this developer fee annual report are statutory fees that the district does collect, and these are referred to oftentimes as level 1 statutory fees that the district is authorized to collect from developers. On the residential side, we charge $3.69 per square foot of new residential construction. That also includes additions that are over 500 square feet. And then the district is allowed to charge up to 61 cents per square foot on commercial. However, it's divided up into different commercial categories, which you can see there, and what we're justified in collecting in those different residential categories. 26 cents per square foot for lodging, 38 cents per square foot for industrial parks, 40 cents per square foot on community shopping, 59 cents for new restaurant construction, and then 1 cent per square foot for self-storage. In addition, the district over the years has had various agreements directly with developers. We called them mutual benefit agreements, and those were agreements that the school district is allowed to enter into with developers in lieu of the statutory fees. So we can actually have a separate agreement to collect more than the statutory level fee, or just a little bit different structure than what's allowed with the statutory fee. So looking at 2022-23, our beginning balance was just under $3 million from prior year collections. The amount of fees that we collected last year were just under $2.4 million. We earned $95,517 in interest. And then we spent about $2.4 million, just a little bit over 2.4. So I'll share with you what those expenditures went to. So leaving an ending balance of, again, just under $3 million, $2,981,267.75. So our expenditures, very few of them last year. Most of our expenditures are really focused on paying the debt service on the 2019 certificates of participation. And if you recall, during our last facilities program, in order to complete all of the projects that we promised voters, the district did issue debt to support and complete projects at Truckee High School, Tahoe Lake, Truckee Elementary, and Kings Beach. So we are using the heart of our developer fee collections every year to pay that debt service. And that debt service of $2.2 million a year actually has gone down now. We recently retired some of that debt, so moving forward, we'll see about $1.8 million in developer fee expenditures in that category. In addition, we are allowed to withhold up to 3% of our developer fees for the administration of developer fees, so that includes our staff time in collecting and just accounting for it. And then we also are proactively going out for additional funding sources, and we're in the process of our master plan, so we are allocating some of our developer fees for future planning and future funding opportunities for our school facilities. And then the percentage of reportable fees, that is just determining what percentage of that particular project is coming from developer fees. So if we looked back at past projects such as our Truckee High School, it was actually a very small percentage. We were using developer fees just to supplement that, but the overall cost was covered mostly with bond funds. And then I mentioned before that we do have some mutual benefit agreements with different developers over the years. Currently, we only have a couple outstanding mutual benefit agreements The ones that come to mind are Lahontan Phase 2 and also Gray's Crossing. So any new house that's built in the Gray's Crossing subdivision actually goes into our mutual benefit account. So our beginning balance there, just a little over $1.6 million. We collected about $385,000 last year that were under a mutual benefit, and then our expenditures were $104,306. And one of the things about the mutual benefit agreements is there's a little bit more flexibility in how we can spend those, but specifically we have earmarked in our MBA fees to fund our Truckee High School indoor sports field house. So we have an ending balance of just over $1.9 million in that account. And then other items, just looking back on that 5-year report, as I mentioned before, and seeing if there's any fees that we collected from 5 years ago that we still have not spent, and there are none at this time, so there's nothing left to report with the 5-year plan. And that's pretty much it. Was there any questions?
Can I ask a question? Yeah. Sorry, I didn't send this ahead of time, but do you have a rough idea of when and how often the board will look at adjustments to the mitigation fees?
Yeah, every 2 years, the state does look at the statutory fee amount and oftentimes increases that amount. The last report that we did, we did not justify collecting the maximum statutory fee level. However, it's a good point. We're kind of about that time where we need to look at this again, especially with the increase in construction costs, which is one of the components in justifying fees. So that's one thing that we will be looking at and making those adjustments. But it's been several years since we increased that.
Thank you very much for that, Todd. I'm psyched that we have a clean sheet right there. Any comments from our public? And any other board questions or comments for Todd? Nope, that was...
Nothing other than we still have a lot of construction going on. So I think if anyone would have any concern about whether these revenues would decrease, the answer is no.
Thank you. Sorry, thank you. Yeah. Good effort. That's great. Thank you very much. And then moving on to... do we need to an action item on that? So thank you, Todd. We'll ask for a motion on that 18.1.
I'll make a motion to approve the annual and 5-year accounting of developer fees for the 22-23 fiscal year.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for that. Now we'll move to 19.0. Superintendent Kramer.
Yes, and Dr. Cohen will be assisting us in Mr. Shepard's absence. He's at the conference.
All right. Okay, thank you. So tonight I'm presenting on behalf of Mr. Mike Shepard, Executive Director of Human Resources. This is the first read and proposed revisions to regulations 4161.2, 4261.2, and 4361.2 personal leaves. Administrative regulations 4161.2, 4261.2, and 4361.2. Personal leaves are being updated to reflect new law, AB 1949-2022, which requires a district to provide up to 5 days of bereavement leave to a qualified employee for the death of a family member, and provide clarifying language regarding the definitions of family member and immediate family and implications for bereavement leave. Regulations are also updated to reference new law, AB 1041-2022, which expands the definition of a family member for whom an eligible employee may take leave to care for or to include a designated person. Are there any questions? Hopefully not. Thank you for that. Board, any questions?
No questions, but just a comment. I know that all this is complying with assembly bills, but I think it's, when I look at the previous regulations or the previous policy within the district, that we are, these changes, I think, are really addressing the areas of concern that the CALM committee is looking at. As far as stress levels, the previous bereavement policy was that an employee would get so many days bereavement if someone passed away, and then they would get some more days of bereavement if the person who passed, the family member passed away, was more than 300 miles away. And I just, it always seemed unfair that someone who's, lost someone and bereaving over it had to sit down and figure out the mileage so they could determine how many bereavement days they would get and whether they have enough time to go to process that properly. So removing that, I think, has been a real smart thing as well. And then also the definitions of family members, I think now includes domestic partners. Is that right?
I believe so, but I will make note and have Mr. Shepherd
Okay, and I think it
follow
broadens
up
the
as well.
definition of who can be included in, as a family member or immediate family member for these bereavement leaves. So I really think it's moving although we're simply complying with an assembly bill, I think it's moving in the right direction that we are trying to move in.
Thank you for that, Pat. I do appreciate the fact that we are, again, it's always, if we're connecting what we're saying we're doing, I think is good. And I think that that's part of that whole comp thing is definitely trying to address the staffing concerns. And as much as that is a law change, it is important. Any other board comments? Okay, with that is just an info for number 19.1. And then 19.2.
Dr. Cohen?
Thank you.
Thank you. This is a first read and proposed revisions to regulations 4161.8, 4261.8, 4361.8, family care and medical leave. Administrative regulations involving family care and medical leave are being updated to reflect new law AB 1041-2022, which expands the definition of a family member for whom an eligible employee may take leave to care for or to include a designated person, provide that an employee may identify the designated person at the time of the employee's request for leave, and include that the district may limit an employee's use of CFRA, which is California Family Care Act, leave to care for one designated person per 12-month period.
Thank you for that. Any questions from the board or comments?
And again, on that same, just on, sort of on a parallel note, when I read the details of this, it was including registered domestic partners as members here, and I think broadening that definition again moves us in the right direction.
Thank you for that, Pat. Any other comments? And again, that was an info only, and then we will be able to are we comfortable bringing those back for the consent? Is that correct? Okay. Thank you for that, Dr. Cohen. And that brings us to board business 20.0. Pat, how do you feel like starting us off?
Okay, I start us off a lot, but I'll go ahead. I'm already going. I'm on a roll already. I was a little surprised today, but all the cards we got is almost like my birthday. But I really want to thank the principals as well as their students who took the time out of their incredibly busy schedules to make the cards for us, as well as these posters that I'm seeing around the room that must have taken so much time. I want you to know that your appreciation of us is very much appreciated, and that the time that you took out of your busy schedules to show us that, I take to heart. Thank you very much to all the principals and to the students and the staff that participated in these things. Thank you very much.
It's funny, I was going to say the same thing, so I should have gone first. Yeah. I don't have much else to add to that other than I was thinking about my New Year's resolutions and practicing moments of gratitude. And so that's what made me think of that when I saw, same thing, all the posters and just the amount of effort that was put into the appreciation. I feel a little guilty, like we should, be able to give something back more so. Sometimes these can be thankless jobs, but I just feel so appreciative and thankful for the opportunity to serve our community in this capacity.
Same. very humbled by all the cards, the posters around the room, the artwork in our closed session, the artwork binder, and yeah, thank you guys so much. And I just, I wanted to share, in December, I had a lot of fun attending the North Tahoe High School Holiday Band Concert. The Glenshire Holiday Performance blew my mind, but what was so great about that is that the retired teacher, band teacher from North Tahoe, Mr. Nordby, was there witnessing one of his students be the teacher leading an entire elementary school in a musical program, and it may as well have been his child. It was, I talked to him after, Mr. Hilton was there. I talked to Mr. Norby afterwards, and ear-to-ear pride, and rightly so. And it's so cool to see that cyclical love and passion for education within our school district. And then, Kirsten and Dee Dee know, I just wanted to let everybody know I'm not here next Wednesday, and I will be mid-flight, so I will not be joining you on Google Meet, and I'm sorry to miss the meeting, but I just wanted to let you know, and yeah, that's all I have.
Again, thank you, Pat, for sort of setting the precedent of expressing gratitude. I think this new board, especially, I just want to say how grateful I am that we're all coalescing and we have a new superintendent that can oftentimes feel very rocky, and it's actually been the opposite. It's really been really smooth, and with some of our new cabinet members as well, I feel like 2024 is off to a fantastic start, and the expressions of gratitude from the artwork to the posters to the cards and everything just speaks volumes to that we're recognized, our work is recognized, and it's actually valued, you know. And then something that one of the presenters here said was that our school board dynamic and relationship with the union is actually being held up as an example. That's a big deal, because it's taken a long time to get there. And to be used as an example with other school districts is something that I take a tremendous amount of pride in, because it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get to the point where we can actually get along with each other and not feel like we're at warring ends of the, table. So congratulations to the CALM team, to the negotiations team, to everybody who tried so hard to make that a smooth process, and now we're reaping the benefits and the rewards of that. So thank you.
Thank you for that. That was, so true, so true. I do, this is a great meeting. We like all this, presidents. I guess it's, we'll have another one next week, so I don't know if it's going to be quite as good. We're back to back. I was with Chris at the Glenshire performance. That seemed like so long ago, but it was probably the coolest elementary school performance of Light, and really fun watching Nordby. I had spent, so Christmas was ski team, so definitely skiing on the mountains with no snow and a lot of people. Increasing uphill capacity, and there's never an increase of downhill capacity, has always startled me. I just don't get it. But no, I'm like, wait, we can't go anywhere. We had a blast, though, and it was one of those things when you talk about your favorite job. I don't know why I keep thinking I'm going to retire from ski coaching, but I had the best. It was nothing. We had no snow, we had rain, but we had the best time. Like, it was, parents were like, I can't believe it was a great day, and we didn't have any of those questions. What did you check off? Like, so many times you get like, what did you work on? And we had a blast. But I think, and then we ended up getting Strider gliders going this week as well, and just hanging out with the with the kids. I know why I'm an outdoor ed teacher and I'm not a classroom teacher. I respect you guys for all the paperwork and all the stuff you have to do. I seriously played the whole week. I mean, I'm exhausted, but it was awesome. And definitely looking forward to 24. I think we've got a lot of good things going. And with that, I will pound the gavel.